Good morning and welcome to the 30k channel, a channel dedicated to games set in the Horus Heresy. I'm your host, David Brains, and look who have I been joined by this morning. Derek, good morning.
You're right.
Good. Now, first things first, Derek has got up at 4 o'clock this morning. He's got to the train station, boarded a train, come to Peterborough, arrived at Peterborough at 8 o'clock in the morning.
No delays.
No delays. Loads of snow though.
Loads of snow, no delays. Surprising.
Exactly right. And we're filming this game on the Saturday morning of the weekender. So you and I have been chatting all this morning. We're checking Facebook. We're checking the community page for Games Workshop. There's some amazing stuff that's coming out.
I'm so pleased with the Death Sworn.
Yeah, they're cool, aren't they?
I want my Space Wolf dice there.
That's true. And we've just seen the limited edition base for Sanguinius as well with that demon on the bottom. Looks so much better now, eh?
And that's just now.
Yeah.
They're not even open yet.
Well, this is true, yeah. So good. So we've got a big day planned today. Derek, we're filming the 8th Challenge the Channel game.
Yep. And
Derek has brought a monstrous Space Wolf list.
Fingers crossed it's monstrous.
Holy cow.
On paper it works.
We've just done the army showcase and I think it will do the business.
One way to find out.
It's pretty amazing, I have to say. You know, you thought the Raven Guard game was close last time, but holy hell, I think it's going to be super close this time. So you've brought some fantastic units, and you've done quite a bit of painting for it as well. Yeah,
a few extra units, things I may only ever use in this game, although they might have uses in other games or as scenery pieces later down the line.
Yeah. But
for now, I've done them for the game because the numbers work.
And the models, you know, Derek's army looks absolutely spectacular. It is amazing. And we had a proper good look at it today as well. Because when we do a proper 3K, 2.5K game, we haven't got a lot of time. We just got to get them in, get the games done and get them home again because there's a lot of travel involved. But today, we're doing Challenge the Channel. Will probably take us 2-3 hours.
Yep, quick lunch.
And then Throne of Skulls is next weekend, which I'm going to. If I can finish my army in time, it's looking really tight. And Derek's graciously prepared 2 lists.
Yep.
2 tough lists. They're tough.
We'll see.
They are tough. But then the mech list is fairly tough. So I love tough competitive games. So you've definitely brought that. So hopefully we're going to squeeze a couple of games in before Derek is back on the train tonight at 8 o'clock. So, 12. Yeah, a couple of beers.
Need the beers.
And some food, yeah. So we've got a big day ahead of us. But let's get back to the game in hand. These Space Wolves, amazing list. I think it'll do the business.
Let's find out.
I really do. Really looking forward to this. Let's work out exactly what's in Derek's list, and then we'll see you begin in turn 1.
1,998 points of Space Wolves, led by Harville Redblade. His Warlord trait is the Head Taker, which gives preferred enemy infantry to all Space Wolves within 12 inches. The Rite of War is the Pale Hunters. Harville Redblade, the Jarl of the 4th Great Company, the Ravager, the Headmaster of Koltok. He is equipped with Hearth Splitter, which is a large axe, with Armor Bane, Battle Cunning, which means up to 3 infantry units within the detachment can be given the Scout special rule, and his Warlord trait is Head Taker, so any friendly Space Wolf infantry within 12 inches have the preferred enemy infantry special rule. Second HQ choice, Speaker for the Dead, the Nameless. He is equipped with Artificer Armour, Melter Bombs, and a Great Frost Weapon. Accompanying Harville Redblade, a 4-man Terminator Command Squad. 3 are armed with Combi Plasmas and Chain Fists. The Standard Bearer is equipped with a Combi Plasma and a Power Fist. First and second Elite's choice, 2 Courteous Contemptor Dreadnoughts armed with heavy conversion beamers and Dreadnought close combat weapons. Third Elite's choice, a Tech Marine Covenant consisting of 2 Tech Marines. Each is armed with a Power Axe, Servo Harness and Artificer Armour. First compulsory troops choice, 15-man Grey Slayer Squad led by the One Eye. The unit is equipped with 5 combat shields, 6 power swords, 3 power fists, and the One Eye is equipped with a Great Frost Weapon, Melter Bombs, and Artificer Armour. Second compulsory troops choice, a 15-man Grey Slayer unit led by the Charger. They are equipped with 5 combat shields, 5 power axes, 1 power sword, 3 power fists, and the Huskar is equipped with melter bombs, artificer armour, and a Great Frost Weapon. Third and final troops choice is a 5-man reconnaissance squad. They are equipped with melter bombs and reconnaissance armour. First and second fast attack choice is 2 5-man seeker squads. 4 are armed with combi melters and 1 is armed with a bolt gun.
1,985 points of Iron Hands running the Company of Bitter Iron Rite of War. The Warlord trait is Murderous Arsenal, and the force is led by Autek Mor. Leading the Iron Hands is Autek Mor. He's equipped in Cataphractii Terminator armor. He's equipped with a servo harness, Cortex controller, Paragon blade, and Volkite charger. His Warlord trait is Murderous Arsenal, which gives him and a unit he joins preferred enemy special rule, which allows him to reroll fail to hit and to wounds roll of 1 when attacking its hated foe in the shooting and combat phase. Elites are 2 Contemptor Dreadnoughts, both armed with Carey's assault cannons. Both have chain fists, but one has a inbuilt graviton gun and the other an inbuilt melter gun. Both have been upgraded to have extra armour. Troops for the Iron Hands, because I'm using the Bitter Iron Rite of War, it makes all Immortals squads as troops. I've taken 3 squads of 15 Iron Hands Immortals, all armed with Volkite chargers. 3 have been upgraded to take melter guns. The Sergeant is equipped with Artificer armour, a melter bomb, and a breaching charge. The Immortals gain the Immortal Hatred special rule, which gives them hatred against traitors, and that allows them to reroll all fails to hit rolls during the first turn of each close combat phase. They also have the Bitter Duty special rule, and that gives them the Stubborn special rule whilst in the enemy's deployment zone.
Okay, we're deployed and ready to go. The Space Wolves, well, I have to say, there's not a lot on the board, really.
Well, thanks to the Pale Hunter Rite of War, I can have reserves on a 2+, and the combination of Harval Redblade allows me to outflank with 3 units. Yeah. So 2 units of Grey Slayers, a Terminator Command Squad, Harval Redblade, and a Speaker of the Dead will be arriving shortly.
Oh my word, it's going to be tough. It's going to get fast and furious very, very quickly. I am a little bit worried, I'm not going to lie. I'm more concerned about these Contemptors at this far end getting that strength 10.
Yeah.
It's small blast though, isn't it?
Large.
Is it large blast?
It's large blast.
Oh god, it's going to get devastating quite quickly. I'm up for the challenge. We'll see how it goes. Derek, good luck to you.
Good luck, David.
We'll see you at the beginning of Space Wolves Turn 1.
Space Wolves Turn 1 movement and shooting. The Space Wolf Reconnaissance Squad has made a move and a short run on an attempt to push round to the rear entrance of the Iron Hands. The 2 units of Seekers have used their combi melters to burn their way through the 2 main entrances. The Iron Priests have opened the doors to the Iron Hands deployment zone and then have commenced their calibration of the 2 heavy conversion beamers, which are soon to fire. The 2 Courtiers Contemptors have fired their heavy conversion beamers. I managed to score hit 9, wounded 5, and David failed 2 saves, so that's 2 down on the left. And on the right, with a big scatter, I only managed to actually clip 3 models due to spacing and managed to kill 2 of those.
Iron Hands Turn 1 movement and shooting. I think I did really well to escape the firepower coming in from the Space Wolf Contemptors. So I was quite lucky there, really. Haven't done very much. I've moved the squad up on the right forward, just advanced them 6 inches. The squad on the left moved 6 and then ran. I rolled a 3, but because they have -1 to their void hardened armor, it's -1, so they moved 2 inches in the run move. And then Autek Mor unattached himself from the left unit and joined the central unit. The Contemptors are snuggled up in that bay. There's no doubt that the strength 10 is going to rip them apart, and I'm going to need those later on in the game because we've got Terminators and those massive squads coming through. So all I've tried to do is mitigate as much damage as possible coming in from the graviton weapons. So all I've got to do now is just sit and survive the next few turns. The final act of the phase was to run the Immortal squad up on the right-hand side 2 inches. I wasn't going to run them, but I figured it's better to make ground than just sit there and get shot at. So I'm anticipating all of those squads outflanking and seeing what happens.
Space Wolves turn to movement. For my reserves, I've had Harval Redblade and his coterie of Terminators arrive. They have come on from one flank. A 15-man Grey Slayer squad has arrived from the other. My Space Wolf Scout Recon squad is making some moves down the side corridor. Both Seeker squads have advanced from my deployment zone in a hope that they'll get some shots down range at the Iron Hands, and the 2 Iron Fathers have opened 2 more doors to allow the Space Wolves access to the remaining areas of the complex. Space Wolves turn to shooting phase. Harval Redblade squad made an attempt to run, fail, only managing to roll a 1, so with the Space Wolf rule only getting a 2-inch move. The Grey Slayers followed suit, again rolling a 1, so moving a whopping 2 inches. My first Contemptor fired his heavy conversion beamer down range and managed to kill 4 of the Iron Hands. And with a very cheeky scatter shot from the second one, managed to hit 4 and kill 2 of the Iron Hands on one side, glancing Autek Mor, which he saved, luckily, but I did succeed in glancing one of the 2 dreadnoughts hiding in the deployment zone. Had a tough choice with the Seekers to make. Opted to take some snapshots using the Scorpius rounds to see if I can wound to snap off a couple, and failed on both attempts.
Iron Hands turn to movement and shooting. Movement phase was a bit tricky. I'm trying to play a little bit tactically here. It's the only way I'm going to survive this game, I think. This squad on the right-hand side, I've had to push them forward. There's nowhere for them to go, really. So I think essentially they're just going to sacrifice their life for this game, unfortunately. So I've pushed them up. I have spaced them out, though, trying to get as much space between them. The squad on the left-hand side, they push forward and they tried to get into this box with a run move, but I only rolled a 3 on the dice, -1, so they got a 2-inch run, which means the Artificer armor, a Melter Gunner, and a Volkite Charger, they are left out in the open, unfortunately, so they might just have to die the next turn. Then I had a little shuffle around with the Contemptors, making way with the Immortals. All we're doing now is just keying up ready for that Terminator and that 15-man unit to come around the corner. I'm aware that there's another 15-man squad to come through, which there's just too many targets and not enough guns. And let's not forget, it's my second turn and I've not taken a single shot against the Space Wolf, so I'm seriously underpowered here. But we're going to give it a go. That's the end of my turn. Let's see what the Space Wolves have got in turn 3.
Space Wolves turn 3 movement. My second unit of Grey Slayers has arrived and have decided to come on from behind Harval Redblade's unit. Harval Redblade and his coterie of Terminators have advanced towards the doors. The unit of Grey Slayers on the right have done likewise in preparation to pounce. The 2 units of Seekers have remained stationary so they can bring their full firepower to bear, and everything else is remaining in perfect firing positions. And the Wolf Scouts have started to continue their push up the side of the corridor. Space Wolves turn 3 shooting. The first Contemptor managed to fire its heavy conversion beamer down the corridor and managed to get catastrophic scatter, making a large dent in the wall but not affecting anything else. On the other side, the second Contemptor fired down the corridor, and even with a scatter still managed to hit 3, and luckily killed 2 and the squad sergeant. The Wolf Seekers fired their Scorpius rounds again, only scoring 2 hits on the left unit but wiping them both out, and killing 2 on the left flank as well, including their sergeant, so both the 2 front-running units are now sergeantless. Ending Space Wolves' turn 3 shooting, the Space Wolf Scouts have made a fantastic run move of 6, so they get 7 inches due to Hunter's Gate. My Grey Slayers, on the other hand, have both catastrophically failed. The unit on the right only getting 3 inches, and the unit on the left only getting 2 inches. The Terminators managed to start their impeccable advance around the corridor.
Iron Hands turn 3 movement. Well, those wolves are closing in, aren't they? I'm a little bit worried about this big pack at the end there. So I've moved up the 3 Melter Gunners and a Volkite in range. I'm hoping to kill at least 2 or 3 of those Grey Slayers just to keep them at bay. I have no doubt they're going to charge me, but we've got a plan for that. On the left flank here, the whole squad has popped out of their little hole there. I need to try and put as many shots down on those Terminators. If I can kill 3 this turn, that'll be a fantastic result. Not only will it gain me ground, but it'll also stop the plasma coming in. I do appreciate, though, that the Cortis Contemptors will fire at them next turn, but you know, unfortunately, Derek's run moves have been a bit on the low side, so they've kind of helped me out. Autek Mor has moved forwards to be in contact with that Contemptor, and he's going to try and repair that hull point. And the other Contemptor and the Immortal Squad have stayed put. They are my contingency plan for defending the deployment zone. Iron Hands turn 3 shooting. A little bit unsuccessful. The Volkite there on the Iron Hand Immortal Squad missed twice, rolling 2 2s. The 3 Melter Gunners, they all hit and wounded, but Derek made some amazing saves with his combat shield and saved 2 of them, only killing 1 Grey Slayer. So very unfortunate on the right-hand side flank here. Continuing on the shooting phase, on the left-hand flank here, I had 14 Volkite shots into the squad and managed to kill 1 of the Tartarus Terminators, which was fantastic news. And then the 3 Melters opened up and killed the remaining 2 that I could see. So 3 Tartarus is fantastic news. I have no doubt that I'm going to get shot by the conversion beamer and then charged against with the Terminators. But hopefully, if a few stay alive, we might get some Overwatch shots in there. And then finally, Autek Mor managed to repair the wound, or rather the hull point on the Contemptor, so he's back up to full strength. It's a tough game. I'm not sure how it's going to go. Let's see what Derek's got for turn 4.
Space Wolves turn 4 movement. The Wolf Scouts have moved up right to that back door now in preparation to breach. Harval Redblade has moved across the corridor so that the unit of Grey Slayers on the far side can gain the bonus of these preferred enemy infantry. The Grey Slayer squads of the second Grey Slayer squad has moved up in preparation to see if they can't get around that corner and deal with some of the Iron Hands, and everything else is holding their firing positions. Space Wolves turn 4 shooting. The Contemptor opened up with its heavy conversion beamer and finally, after hours of calibration, managed to hit 7 and kill 6 instantly, clearing the way for the remainder of the Grey Slayers and the Space Wolves. First Seeker Squad managed to land 3 solid hits and managed to wound 3, but unfortunately, due to saving throws and lines of sight, only managed to kill 2 because the third guy is hiding behind a ferrocrete wall. On the other side, the Contemptor didn't fire because it was far too close to call, and Space Wolves like to keep themselves alive. The Seekers, however, did manage to land 3 hits, 3 precision shots, and have managed to kill 2. Unfortunately, David failed his leadership test on a whopping 11 and only managed to roll a 4, which is reduced to 3 because of void-hardened armor. Final action of the shooting phase, the second unit of Grey Slayers finally managed to make a decent run move, scoring 5, so managing to move 6. which means that I've got the decision to make of whether I charge that lone Iron Hand to push myself closer to the Iron Hands deployment zone. Space Wolves turn 4 assault. My first unit of Grey Slayers managed to capture, but David managed to rally. So we are engaged in close combat on this side. On the far side, I did attempt to charge on the off chance I could make it, but only managed to roll a 6. So that would have only been a charge of 5 inches for the Space Wolves due to the Warrior's Metal rule for the Slayers. So a failed charge there. Predictably, the 14-man Grey Slayer squad managed to kill the 2 Iron Hands in that unit and rolled a 6 on their consolidation. And due to the Warrior's Metal special rule, Space Wolves get +1 to all consolidation. So they got a whopping 7 inches, which has pushed them right round that corner, out of line of fire for maybe a little bit, in preparation for being charged by a couple of Contemptor Dreadnoughts and the remaining Iron Hands.
Iron Hands, turn 4 movement. I have a plan. The Space Wolves have got into the deployment zone already by turn 4, so an amazing effort they've done there. But my plan is the 2 Contemptors have moved out to trying to catch them in a pincer movement. My plan is to fight everything they've got, charge them, and then wipe them out, hopefully, and then they will consolidate to that middle recess there, ready for the next charge of the other Grey Slayer pack. Autek Mor and his full squad of 50-man Immortals have castled up in the deployment zone. I don't know how to deal with these scouts because I think I'm going to need these 2 units for the squads coming in. So we might have to look at them later. Hopefully the Dreadnoughts will survive, so we'll see how it goes. Iron Hands, turn 4, shooting. It went okay, not amazing, but we'll start with the Contempt here on the right-hand side. I shot the Graviton gun into the Grey Slayers, only killed... I didn't kill any of the Grey Slayers, unfortunately. Then the Carries opened up and killed one of the Grey Slayers with a combat shield, and then the Immortal here fired his Volkite Charger and killed another with the shield. So that's good. It won't stop me from the attacks coming in. So when I charge in the shooting phase, in the combat phase rather, and now I'm going to go over to the Contemptor on the far end. Continuing on the shooting, the Contemptor on the right hand side here shot his Carries and killed 2 Grey Slayers with combat shields and a Grey Slayer with a power axe. So that was good. The Melter shot in next. It would have killed the Power Fist, but unfortunately I rolled a 1 to wound, which is really, really unfortunate. I'd like to have got rid of that Power Fist, but that's all the shooting I've got. I'm now going to go for the pincer movement charge with the 2 Contemptors. Iron Hands, turn 4, combat phase. The 2 Contemptors made the charge, which is fantastic news. The Contemptor closest to your screen here also took out one of the Grey Slayers with a Power Fist with his Hammer of Wrath, so that's fantastic news. We're now going to go on to Initiative 4, where the Contemptors will strike first. Combat between the Contemptors went okay. I had 8 attacks going in. They all hit, which was really great news. But unfortunately, I only ended up killing 4 Grey Slayers, which was a bit of a shame. I had hoped to do a little bit more damage. But crucially, there's 2 models with Power Fists and a Sergeant with a Melter Bomb. So it could be over very soon.
So the Space Wolves was taught attack with the Melter Bomb. He luckily managed to hit and managed to cause a stun result and the hull point. So the 2 Power Fists with their 4 attacks managed to land 2 attacks, but unfortunately failed to glance or penetrate the Contemptor Dreadnought. Due to the Space Wolves' right of war, I have the capability of hitting and running, but know that if I do hit and run and manage to get away, that the Contemptors are just going to hide and then pounce on me again. So I'm going to leave those wolves in combat, fighting 2 Contemptor Dreadnoughts so they can enter themselves in the sagas of the Space Wolves.
Okay, so that is the end of the Iron Hands turn. I would have liked to have wiped that squad out. They would have, as I said before, moved into the middle, and then if I was charged by the Grey Slayers or that Terminator unit next turn, I would at least got some Overwatch off and be safe from the Cortis at the end of the battlefield here. It's not a bad position to be in. At least I can't get shot at. It's a real tricky situation to be in. Hopefully I'll finish that squad off and then we can focus all of our efforts onto the Grey Slayers and maybe these scouts that are behind my lines. Let's see what Derek's got.
Space Wolves turn 5 movement. The scout squad has reached its final destination and are preparing to breach the door. The Grey Slayer pack, due to a slightly cheeky rules measurement, the Grey Slayers have managed to slip past that lone Iron Hands to get in within strike range of that Contemptor Dreadnought and hopefully do some damage to it. Harval Redblade has detached from the squad and decided to go on a rampage round the corner. The Standard Bearer is backing up the Grey Slayer unit, and the Speaker for the Dead has elected to join the unit. I have a Seeker squad on the right side who is now advancing down the corridor because they have no viable targets. And everything else is remaining static because they have no viable targets anymore. End of the shooting phase, Harval Redblade made a run round the corner, getting a massive 6 inches. The Seeker squad only managed to get 4, but they're pushing up slowly, which is good. The far side Seeker squad finally managed to get some nice precision shots through their own infantry and kill the remaining lone Iron Hand. Space Wolves turn 5 assault. The Grey Slayer squad managed to get a 7-inch charge, so they have piled straight into the side of that Contemptor Dreadnought. I've managed to strategically position as many combat shields and power fists as I can against that Dreadnought, because I've got a strong feeling that they're going to suffer if that Dreadnought gets loose. Now that I'm engaged in close combat, unfortunately for me, the Space Wolves only have weapons at initiative 1, which has allowed both of the Contemptor Dreadnoughts to attack first. However, the first Contemptor failed to do any damage, hitting once but failing to wound, and the second Contemptor managed to hit once and wound and kill 1, leaving the large Grey Slayer squad and my other Grey Slayers to attack. The small Grey Slayer pack have fought back, unfortunately yielding no damage from the Power Fist attacks, and the Sergeant missed with his Melter Bomb. Moving on to the second unit of Grey Slayers, who I'm hoping are going to do a lot more damage. Second Grey Slayer squad with its 3 Power Fists. Due to the Space Wolf Rite of War Fury of the Pack, they gain +1 attack and a unit that is already engaged, so from my 3 Power Fists I yielded 9 attacks. Of those 9 attacks, I managed to land 7 hits. Unfortunately, only 1 managed to glance. However, that penetrating hit did actually yield an immobilized result on that Contemptor, so it's reduced its attacks, and more importantly, it's now immobilized.
Iron Hands, turn 5, movement phase. I think Derek's done it. I could have done with losing that Contemptor in the Space Wolf's turn. That would have left that squad open for Autek Mor and his squad to shoot and charge them. But it didn't happen, but that's okay. So the first action was that Autek Mor was stood by that pillar. He then moved 6 inches out towards the door. The rearmost model of the Immortal squad then opened the door, revealing the scouts. And then the rest of the squad pushed forwards, keeping 2-inch coherency. And our plan is just to charge. There is a big argument for keeping Autek Mor in the squad, and I probably would have done more damage, but then I wouldn't have been able to deal with the scouts, and then they would have been in my deployment zone. So I'm between a rock and a hard place here. So I'm trying to mitigate the massive win from Derek's part and trying to deny him a little bit of victory. So my plan now is for Autek Mor to shoot and charge the scouts and wipe them out, fingers crossed. The Contemptor will hopefully clear off those 3 Grey Slayers, freeing him up in the next turn to take on Harval Redblade. But unfortunately, the Contemptor here is down to 2 attacks because he's mobilised. Rolled really poorly in the last turn. So there's a lots of ifs and buts. As I said, I think Derek's got it. So let's see what happens. Iron Hands, turn 5 shooting, a very quick shooting phase. Autek Mor shot his Volkite charger into the scouts. I hit once, but unfortunately their recon armour held firm and I didn't take any casualties in the squad. That's all I've got for shooting. It's now straight on to the assault phase. Iron Hands, turn 5 assault phase. The Immortals made it in with a massive 18 charge, so that was fantastic news. Autek Mor charged the scouts there. They passed their reactionary fire test and shot 8 shotguns and threw a crack grenade at him, but they didn't get through his armor, so that's great news, and he charged into combat. So we're going to resolve Autek Mor first. Great round of combat from Autek Mor there. His Paragon Blade hit and wounded 4 times, and then the scout struck. Unfortunately, didn't cause any damage, and then the servo arm took the final model of the squad, which was great news, and I consolidated 1 inch. So at least my deployment line is safe, and now we've got to go into the massive fight that is the front of the Iron Hands deployment zone. Iron Hands, turn 5, combat phase. We've decided to film this combat phase in its entirety. It's quite complicated, so we're going to go step by step, and hopefully it will just show you the action. We've got a fixed camera mount here, and we're going to try and take you through the combat as much as we can. Starting with the Contemptor on the far right-hand side. He has 3 attacks. I need 3s to hit. So that's 2 hits, fantastic news. And now I need 2s to kill. So I've got 1, 1 and a 4. So that kills one of the Power Fist Marines. Next is the second Contemptor. He is immobilized, but he still gets 2 attacks. And he's in combat with the 2 members of the Grey Slayers and the other Grey Slayer squad. So I've got 2 attacks, of which 1 hit and 2s to wound. I got 1 wound. I'll assign this to the Marine with the Power Axe. Great news, that kills 2 members of that final Grey Slayer squad. Now on to the next initiative.
Initiative step 4 sees the Space Wolves start, so I will be start by throwing 5 crack grenades at the Contemptor that I'm engaged with, requiring 4s to hit. So 2 hits. So thankfully I'm attacking the rear armour at strength 6, so I require 4s to glance but 6s to penetrate. So 1 glance takes the last hull point of the vehicle, unless David can make his 6+ invulnerable save.
Okay, wish me luck. Oh, that's a 5, so that is destroyed.
Continuing on in initiative step 4, the Grey Slayers will attack the Iron Hands unit with their power swords. Each armed with a power sword, so they will get a total of 12 attacks. Due to the Speaker of the Dead, they also have preferred enemy infantry. So looking at those 4s to hit, re-rolling 1s. A couple of re-rolls there. So that is a total of 7 hits. So 7 hits. Strength 4 versus toughness 4 requires 4s to wound, re-rolling 1s. So that is a whopping 5 saving throws to make.
Because the power swords are AP3, I get my shield save, of which I saved 2, which is great news. So I failed 3, and now I need my feel no pain of 6+, which I failed all 3. So 3 immortals are dead. They will get to attack back at initiative, but we'll just remove the models so you can see what's going on. Next at initiative 4, the Iron Hands Immortal Sergeant, who is in a challenge with the Space Wolf Sergeant, is going to throw his breaching charge into the combat. I've never used these before, so Derek and I have read the rules 3 or 4 times just to make sure. Essentially, it has to be in base contact with the model that's throwing it, and then you roll a scatter dice. So, sorry, you need to roll to hit. So it's on majority weapon skill, so I need a 4 to hit. So wish me luck. Oh, so I rolled a 3. Does scatter. Let's see what happens on the result. Okay, not too bad. I think that's scattered off camera, but I'll just move it forwards. So it's scattered in that direction. And I'll lay the template down so you can see. So I targeted just there. So it will flip and capture 4 Marines. So this is not too bad. It's strength 8 AP2. So let's roll to wound. Oh, only caught 3 Marines.
So due to the combat shields being the ones that are the closest, I will claim a 6+ invuln, of which 1 saves but 2 fail. And due to the strength 8, they will not get feel no pain from the Speaker from the Dead. 2 Space Wolves down.
Okay, so that wasn't too bad. Next up at Initiative 4 is the remaining members of the Immortal Squad. There's 6 within 2 inches of someone in combat, so I have 12 attacks because I charged, needing 4s to hit. Not too bad. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. So that's pretty average. I'm strength 4, 4s to wound, of which I score 2 wounds.
2 wounds, 2 saving throws of 3+, 1 passed, 1 failed, but feel no pain 5+, and a success on the roll of a 6.
Ah, very unfortunate.
Initiative step 3, the Huskar will attack with his Great Frost weapon at initiative 3. So 2 attacks, hitting on 4s, master crafted. So 1 hit, 1 miss. Reroll for Mastercrafted. 2 hits. Strength 5, AP 2. Rerolling 1. So 2 wounds. 2 invulnerable saving throws.
Yeah, okay, so I could do them individually because it might kill him. So 5 up for his shield. Oh, so I'll go on a 3. Feel no pain. No, so the sergeant is dead, who was in a challenge, and now it rolls over into one of the members of the squad. Again, 5 up, followed by a 6 up. Failed. So the sergeant and 1 immortal are dead.
Initiative step 1. The Space Wolves have moved up with their 2 power fists, and the power fists will now strike. So requiring force to hit, but thankfully preferred enemy infantry. Reroll 1s. Lands me a hit and strength 8. So 2s to wound, 1 wound. 8b2.
All right, so all I get is my shield save, 5 up, and I fail. It's double my toughness, so another immortal falls. At the end of that round, unfortunately, the immortals lose by 3, which now means they need a leadership test on a 5 up. I could really do with passing this. Oh, rolled a 7. So unfortunately, they have failed. And now we do initiative roll-off because you could run me down.
I can indeed.
So I've got 3.
So highest initiative was the Speaker for the Dead. So initiative 5.
Ooh,
You get away.
I do get away. So I fall back 2d6. So that's 10 inches. Unfortunately, 10 inches takes me off the board. So unfortunately, they've ran off. And the Space Wolves will consolidate.
So the Space Wolves will consolidate. 2 plus 1, so 3 inches.
Great work.
Space Wolves turn 6 movement, my final movement phase for this game, and my Greyslayer units have moved up to surround Autek Mor. The standard is moved up in preparation to plant the standard in the Iron Hands deployment zone. Harval Redblade has moved up to the Contemptor to see if he can't save that lone Slayer a terrible fate. The Seeker Squad has moved up to secure the left access in case the Iron Hands have any other backup. And the other unit of Seekers has also advanced down the corridor in preparation to do the same to secure the area for the Space Wolves. Turn 6, shooting and assault. Due to no viable targets, I've had no shooting, so I've done a few run moves instead. My Seeker Squads have moved up to secure the other side. The Standard Bearer has ran up to try to get the deployment zone, but he failed. But the standard is close enough to be planting shortly. The Greyslayer Squad and the Speaker for the Dead have charged and managed to gain it to close combat. And Harval Redblade has also decided to charge the remaining Contemptor Dreadnought to see if he can't bring it down with his mighty axe. Space Wolves turn 6, close combat. At initiative step 5, Harval Redblade laid in with his mighty axe. It's strength 6 with armor bane. He managed to land 6 attacks. 3 of which were penetrating hits and 1 was a glance, but the penetrating hits were enough to take down the Dreadnought without an explosion, so a quick consolidation from there, pushing Harval into the deployment zone and the remaining Slayer, thankful to be still alive. Continuing on with the close combat phase, the Speaker for the Dead issued a challenge to Autek Mor, which he accepted. The Speaker managed to land a total of 3 hits, and due to a combination of armor saves and luckiness, he's managed to save 2 of the 3, so he's taken 1 wound. Moving on to initiative step 3. Autek Mor struck back with his Paragon weapon and managed to hit once and wound, which was taken on the invulnerable saving throw of the Speaker, which he failed, so he has taken 1 wound. Initiative step 4 for the Space Wolves resulted in a whopping 30 attacks and plenty of wounds, landing a total of 12 wounds, despite Autek's toughness 5, and David failed his remaining 2 armor saves, which means the Greyslayers have put him down and reconsolidated into the Iron Hands deployment zone.
There it is. Sad face for the Iron Hands, but that was a wipeout for the Iron Hands. So
Hell of a game.
Congratulations.
Hell of a game.
It was an amazing game.
There was more than 1 or 2 points where I was like, I've fluffed this. I lost count of how many poor run moves I made. I was expecting to be in the deployment zone a lot quicker, but slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, it absolutely worked. You know, that fact that you outflanked from either side. Yeah. There was too many targets, and I didn't get to shoot until maybe, I think it was turn 3, I think it was, wasn't it?
Turn 3, turn 4, when you actually shot 1 model.
Yeah, it didn't really happen very much, but you did it, so an amazing result.
Yeah, classic Space Wolf tactic, surround them, kill them.
Yeah. You know, and towards the end of the game, you know, I took Autek Mor off to take out the scouts.
Yeah.
And it took him away from the combat right in front of the Immortals, you know, and they obviously ran off the board. If I'd have stayed attached, they would have been fearless, and we would have stayed in combat probably. But then the scouts would have just come in and took the Immortals anyway.
Zone. And I'm fearless because the Speaker for Dead was there, so it's just been a slugfest.
Oh, it was tricky. My only hope was that the
breaching charge.
Yeah, I was hoping the breach charge was going to do more damage.
I'm glad it flipped.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I would have taken maybe 7 or 8 with me.
Yeah.
But I was hoping maybe that the Contemptor would have done the hit 3 times, kill 3 times.
Yeah.
Then I would have consolidated my deployment zone. Then I would have charged the back into Autek Mor, but it just didn't happen. I mean, I don't know, but you did an amazing job.
It was an amazing game, and
more
than 1 or 2 moments in there where I was actually like, I'm not going to make this. It's too close.
Those conversion beamers did an amazing job.
Yeah. I mean, if you read the background for them, they're built for killing ships and breaching. And I just like the idea that the 2 dreadnoughts have been given conversion beamers overseen by 2 tech priests or iron priests just to actually calibrate and fire and open doors, because you need to go to Mars to open doors on spaceships. So the Space Force couldn't work that out, so they opened the doors for them. So,
such a great job. And it was, you know, and towards the end we filmed that really large combat, and hopefully I've cut all that up and it's a lot faster, but it took us a while to pile through that, didn't it?
There was a lot of different initiative steps, cheeky charges. And
it's the first time I'd used that breach charge, so we just wanted to make sure we was doing it right, but it's not actually that bad, is it?
I think they've got their place. Definitely got their place. I mean, you put that in front of a unit of Terminators that's just charged you. They're going at Initiative 1 because they're running Power Fists or Chain Fists.
Yeah.
Splat.
Yeah, and we did check that to make sure it wasn't unwieldy. So we looked at the Melter Bomb rule, that's unwieldy Initiative 1, but the Demolition Charge, there was no unwieldy.
There is no rules unwieldy. It is a one-shot weapon system. It's got specialist rules for when it flips, but aside of that, it doesn't state in the book that it is unwieldy.
Yeah. So
Initiative Step 4, Strength 8, AP 2.
Yeah.
You roll that you hit. If you don't hit, you roll the scatter, and you roll the scatter until you get that scatter.
Yeah.
And thankfully, it went away from a Huskarl who has a 2+ armor save, who did a bit of damage, but such is the way of the game.
Oh, hey, it's the way it goes. But I really, really enjoyed it. You know, the Iron Hands did get wiped out, but it was such a thrilling game, and I had an absolute blast.
So close in time to the last 2 turns.
It was. And, you know, you made a comment earlier about I just needed some blast weapons or some much longer range weapons.
But, definitely.
You know, the Force is as it is. It gets more devastating as you come close to it. But
that's just it.
But you just circumvented that.
Well, I wanted 2-3 rounds of shooting with big guns, with your no feel, no pain, no extra armor saves, and just take as much down as I can. You've clearly learnt from the last game, which was plasma death.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of spaces between Marines, so I wasn't clipping as many as I would have liked. But
yeah, and you could definitely see that from when I played James. I deployed over to one side and mitigated a lot of the firepower coming in. So a lot of his squads were really redundant, and I tried to do that with your list as well, because those Strength 10 AP1...
Strength 10 AP1 from 41 inches up to 72, and that's that kill box. That's just horrific.
They were tough, so we tried, but I think you did an amazing job. Now, I've taken quite a few photos of these, so please go to the Facebook page and have a look at the photos from this game. Now, you've got loads of armies. Well, you've got a few. Wolves and...
I've got Wolves and Iron Warriors.
Yeah, that's it.
And then our fleet between others of different things. Yeah. There's Emperor's Children in the pipeline, Mechanicum in the pipeline, Solar. I need to focus, but I'm going to go back to the Iron Warriors, do some tanks for them, because they're infantry heavy, and I need tanks. And more importantly, I need Medusas.
Yes. Yeah, they are cool. So if you want to follow Derek on his Instagram, where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram under D_rack. I'm sure it's going to appear about here.
It will, if I did my job right. And of course, you can follow the channel as well. It's just at the 30k channel. So again, all the photos have gone onto the Facebook page. Now, if you have any specific questions for Derek and his amazingly painted armies, please message him directly through Instagram, because it's a lot easier for you to answer than I can.
Definitely.
Any special mentions? Any clubs or anything you want to talk about?
Clubs, I'm still part of the Heaton Gaming Club.
Great.
I was trying to kick off a campaign there to try and get some more people playing it at the Horus Heresy, and looking at coming back to 30k channel and doing a Tale of 4 Gamers in the future.
Yes.
With a few armies that are looking quite nice, but going to do a Tale of 4 Gamers over a few games and see where it goes. But we'll come back to that another time.
Yeah, and we'll be at the new venue by then. So by the time Derek and his friends come down to film those series of games, we'll be at the new venue. So in theory, you won't know that we've changed venues, because if you do know, then it means I've done something wrong. So hopefully you wouldn't know. But yeah, so there's a lot more facilities available there. We can do a lot more different things there. So we're hoping to get you guys down for that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment. Let us know what you thought of the game. Again, it was awesome.
Yep.
And we'll see you in the next one.